And we're back. To finish my statement, yeah, it's revealed that Eliza's character, played by Melissa Fumero, was married to Aaron Walker, played by Leonard Robinson. Um, after years of that comfort level of being married and not have to necessarily be working, she finds herself at the job where, a lot of us gravitate to because, time has passed and perhaps skills have outdated. And so she goes back to the former Blockbuster video where she used to work with her schoolboy crush or friend, Timmy. And Timmy's now the head manager of this particular branch of Blockbuster before he finds out that it's the last surviving Blockbuster on the planet. And not for nothing, side note, I know a number of people who have done that. That's no shade or shame to people who have stayed true to a job that they probably started working at the age of 14. I can't tell you a number of people that used to be former rookie employees, if you could say, fryer people at the local McDonald's, and now have aspired to like actual branch manager and is in charge of a number of employees, and that's what we kind of see with Timmy. And again, Randall Park is like synonymous with comedy, right? With Fresh Off the Boat. We've seen him in a number of other Netflix rom-com videos. I mean, movies, and so I think he has obviously he has a flair for it, but he's known for the bringing on the awkward smile and conversation that nobody wants to have, or small talk that some people it just doesn't naturally roll out of them. So he makes it funny. And even his love interest, which sometimes she plays like the straight person, because in the sense of like she's not always with the yucks and jokes and whatnot. You see her trying to like rebuild her life after years of just being a stay-at-home wife, or I don't think this coupling has children, and they lost trust because I mean the man was unfaithful with a much younger woman, which played into her self-esteem. But we see all like the ins and quirks of all the other characters as well, and how they kind of gravitate towards each other. Even the obnoxious millennial or Gen Z that's working there, which I don't necessarily know why she's working there, because again, I'm sorry to say, sorry to criticize, but they're very self-entitled and very of the selfie generation, that it's kind of odd that she would be working there. So there's certain things that don't make sense, but again, it's all based on fiction. And I did appreciate the holiday episodes they have for Halloween. I don't know if they had one for Thanksgiving, but they definitely had one for Christmas. And I thought it was funny because they were bringing all types of stuff to attract attention, which isn't far-fetched from a lot of like businesses that unfortunately were big corporations at one point, then in a blink of an eye started to become a mom and pop shop because it's just been reduced to like near nothing, like in the case of Blockbuster, which is so funny because it just tells you how things go in tides and waves. Blockbuster really KO'd a lot of these like small little video production places, and even the average mom and pop video store, rental store. And they were a big corporation. They were nationwide, like McDonald's and Burger King, and then it just was reduced to like nothing in a blink of an eye because of the internet and because of streaming. So it just tells you. But anyway, and then the last episode they inquire and are able to bring back actors of yesteryear. One in particular, which is it's a fictionalized movie, and that movie never took place, but it could be honestly any Christmas story where they bring, and in fact, drum roll, they are bringing back A Christmas Story on November 16th on HBO Max. They're bringing back Ralphie. So it's not that this is the same thing, but it would be, like, honestly, like they were bringing back a major character, a beloved character from the holidays, to do in-store signing, and then the guy didn't do like their research and didn't realize that the guy had like gone through the pitfalls of fame and even walked away from fame, and now had like a major um, insecurity issue and thought that everybody was there to make fun of him or whatever the case may be. Which I think, in fact, it did kind of happen with the other characters in the Christmas Story. Which, so again, it's not so off from reality. But in this case, yes, he totally ruined the PR. And he was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. And all the fans walked away like, oh my God, this is not the person that we thought it was. But this particular place and location, they go through some form of lunar eclipse where all of a sudden the energy, the electricity goes out, and people go in droves to the last Blockbuster, to the point where there's just complete and utter chaos. And then that will they, won't they, between Timmy and Eliza, it seems like, yeah, maybe they might, hit it off. But then Aaron, Eliza's ex-husband, decides to come back and, rekindle their relationship and woo her all over again, pretend as if that didn't happen. And they're all wearing these festive little things. That's why, again, this is available at the Dollar Tree. Again, y'all know my props and stuff, but not far-fetched for something that you would see at an office party, office theme thing, or whatever the case may be. And Timmy is also trying to put himself out there, and that's where we see Renee, his love interest. And it seems like they're gonna finally click. They're getting serious, or whatever the case may be. He's trying to put Eliza in, the back burner. But in the midst of chaos, they're kind of like going through the motions, and then by chance they have a back room, which I didn't even know a lot of these places may have had a back room. I didn't see one in my local branch. And they had like their little kitchenette. And they go, and as she goes back there, upset for some purpose, and there's Aaron like proposing and wanting to renew their vows, or whatever the case may be. Unfortunately, Timmy walks in, and that hurts him, and we have a very Friends moment. So again, I don't know if that's why we were seeing like instances of maybe even rom-coms that we're known to know, we've been programmed to learn over the decades, like Friends, right? When Ross finally decides to move on from Rachel and falls in love with Emily, that UK character they brought in, and they do the whole lavish wedding in the UK, United Kingdom, and England, and and of course Jennifer Aniston's character of Rachel, makes it last minute, almost with the hopes that something will happen. But I think she's in the midst of it, or as she travels, she maybe realizes that maybe that boat has sailed. But now they always say also the Freudian slip, right? Sometimes the things that you say are actually what you feel. And we have the famous Ross line where he says his vows and then says, I do Rachel instead of Emily. And then we leave on that cliffhanger, and then we're left with that kind of cliffhanger here for this episode, for this series, because we see that Eliza may perhaps renew her vows, but Timmy walked away in a huff. And then he's talking to his new love interest, possible girlfriend, which she's kind of even declared that they could be in a relationship now, and Renee. And he's like, yeah, I'll see you later, Eliza. And then she's like, oh. And then she's able to piece it together that perhaps he harbors some kind of torch for Eliza. And we're left on that cliffhanger, perhaps for the opportunity to have a season 2. Now, they're 10 episodes, like I said, 30 minutes apiece. It's funny. It has its moments, but did it really feel like it was centered on like actual Blockbuster? I don't know. The pilot, the first episode, yeah, maybe. But I feel like it just kind of went nowhere after that, because like they're scrambling. He's trying to figure out how he's going to continue the legacy of Blockbuster, and maybe even maintain his employees paid. And I feel like they were kind of going into it for the second episode, but then it just branched off into more of like their quirks and their lives, and we get it. We are to know who these employees are. It's not just about Blockbuster, but I don't know how they were to infuse one thing with the other. I don't know, for like us movie fans, I think we needed to see more when it came to like, if it's gonna be about Blockbuster, then let it be about Blockbuster. Maybe a trajectory about Blockbuster, or how Blockbuster, and it could still be fictionalized. It doesn't have to be, it's not a documentary about Blockbuster, but maybe some way that they can interweave it into the storyline. I don't know. But it didn't feel fulfilling enough for a lot of us who are true devoted fans to what Blockbuster meant to us, how we connected to Blockbuster. Honestly, again, it had a great premise, a great story, a great idea, and I think maybe something like this would have worked better for the stage, but I don't know. And just a lot of people were kind of let down with this series, because it was just like, I don't know what we were expecting, but we were expecting a lot more, and it being more connected to Blockbuster per se. So with that, it just depends on your mood. If you just kind of want to have something to watch, if you've watched other things and you just want to try something new. But I hate, because again, I don't like poo-pooing, especially when we have Latinos at the helm of these writing positions, like showrunners and creators. I don't like to poo-poo on my Latino people, and she's Vanessa Ramos, but it just lacked a little something. So if I'm honest, at least I want to keep it honest on my channel. I don't necessarily know if I would rewatch this. I gave it a good, I pushed myself, because there were a couple episodes that did surprise me, and I felt like, oh, okay, yeah, that was really silly and funny and whatnot. But yeah, like a lot of other reviewers here on YouTube, past the 7th episode, I don't think that they even made it to 10. So sorry, but it was what it was. I would be very surprised if they do get a second season, but they did leave on a cliffhanger, so there is a possibility that it might come back. But I feel like it needs to be interjected more into like the whole movie thing, the whole rental thing. The last episode, again, I feel like you were onto something with the first episode and the last episode, which is episode 10. Something there was like, yeah, I was bubbling over that. That was like, but in between, it got a little like muffled, a little muddied. And it wasn't hitting. It wasn't hitting, y'all. So sorry. But again, watch it if there's nothing else to watch. But yeah, I wouldn't rewatch it. Sorry. But anyway, that's my review for Blockbuster. This TV series is currently streaming on Netflix. If you like what you see, give us a like, give us a share, leave us a comment down below. Have you checked out Blockbuster, and did you like it? Did it fare well with you guys? Again, this is just my opinion, but you may have liked it. So if you liked it or you didn't like it, leave us a comment down below. I'm looking forward to reviewing a few other films and changing my background. We'll see if we start getting into the Christmas season, as you can see with my antlers and my jingle bells. I'll be changing the background too. And a number of shows that are going to be popping off even this week. The Crown, y'all. The Crown is coming back. I'm so excited for that. Wednesday is premiering soon as well. I think Atlanta is finishing, or may have finished already. I have to also get back to My Handmaid's Tale. And there's a number. Oh, and A Christmas Story. I mean, hello. We waited decades to see a sequel to that.